unheard of for the Buccaneers. One of their defensive leaders, Devin White, has come under heavy criticism, most recently by Warren Sapp, who said that White should take the C off his chest for what Sapp believes is lack of effort. Now, White responded and said freedom of speech. Sapp can say what he wants and he respects him, but he said his teammates know what he's about. On the offensive side, Tom Brady said you can either back down to the challenge or you can step it up. And stop me if you've heard this before, but Tom Brady can hit another milestone on Sunday. He is 164 passing yards shy of hitting the mark of 100,000. Brady said that sounds crazy even to him, but he is prepared. He said he'll probably be keeping that jersey, which he's doing more of lately. And he said he's also going to put out an APB to his offensive guys about not handing that ball over. That's something that they have learned the hard way here in Tampa. And Jamie, next time I see all you guys, we'll all be in Munich. So see you guys soon overseas.
Pretzels and beer on us, Sarah. It sounds awesome. We can't wait. The Bucs and the Rams, they are just 2 of the 6 playoff teams from last year that are currently below 500.
Wow.
That has to be the first time this has happened.
What
shocking.
happened?
We're almost at the midway point of the season.
Is this the upside down world?
So, right, exactly. So take someone off that list, a struggling team that was in the playoffs last year that so badly needs a win this weekend that you want to lift them up right now.
I'm going to stick with where Sarah is. Tampa, it's so head-scratchingly confounding to what's going on with this team. No life, no buzz. And you look at the team, and it's a bunch of veteran guys, and many of them have won a Super Bowl. So it's not like, hey, and it could fall off a cliff fast. You lose to the Rams this week, now you're talking about your 6th loss in 7 weeks. And then you're talking about having to pack up the bags and go on this NFL ambassador trip to Germany where you're the face of the NFL. You think those guys want to make that trip after losing another game? No, they want to be in their own beds, comfortable, and it can get really ugly really fast. I said it last week when we came on the show on a Friday morning, and I don't do this often, and I was like, I think there needs to be a major change in Tampa. I didn't call for the firing of a head coach. I didn't call for the release of a player, but I said something is likely going to happen because I've been covering this league too long, and to watch a game like that, the loss to the Ravens, and just say, yeah, we're good with what we got, let's go. And Byron Leftwich is still employed. Todd Bowles is still employed. All those players are still there. What happened was a former player, Warren Sapp, came out, and Warren Sapp's voice matters in Tampa, and he called out that defense, and he called out Devin White, and he said, you're loafing. This is a guy, Devin White, who was a Super Bowl champion, was one of the best players on that team, was a top 5 pick, and then Devin White didn't want to go back and forth in the media, so he didn't talk to the media. This thing is starting to mushroom right now. You lose to this Rams team at home, and the Boo Birds are coming, and you've got Nance and Romo on the call, and the whole country being forced to sit through this. And then you got to get on a plane and fly to Munich. Ooh, I don't know if I want to be a part of that team right now. I don't know. Unless you get the win, and suddenly, all right, we're in the NFC South, and we're 4-5, and we could turn things around, and we're better than Mariota, and we're better than P.J. Walker, and we're better than... A win is huge right now. A loss... There might be no locker room or team I'd want to be around less than a bunch of veterans who are 3-6 and aren't exactly playing great.
Yeah, you bring up a great point for them. It's a huge opportunity because the division's still wide open. They have so many guys that knows what it takes to win, but they have to figure it out. And Warren Sapp calling you out, maybe they'll find a reason to rally around it. But I'm going to another veteran quarterback who is struggling right now, and that's Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay Packers.
Talk about it.
They have to be able to get this win. They lost to the Buffalo Bills last week, and they talked about after the game, they had some good moments, and it was almost like a moral victory, like your son or your daughter's out there, they're playing soccer, they lost the game, but everybody gets a medal, and that's not what the NFL is, and we've watched a very frustrated Aaron Rodgers this season. He talked about it all throughout training camp, not having the guys, young receivers, mistakes, not knowing the plays, all of these other things, and you see it carrying over. But they have 2 studs at running back, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, and you want to see these guys continue to succeed, but you want to see Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball down the field. And if there's any week to do it, it is this week. They're going against the Detroit Lions, who have struggled mightily on the defensive side of the ball. You don't even have to look at what the rankings are. Don't even care what it is. Points per game, yards. Just look at 21 yards. Just look at the column all the way to the right. Last in every single column. They just fired their DB coach, Aubrey Pleasant, and I guess that's a scapegoat thing. There's no way he's responsible for them being last in every single category. So for Aaron Rodgers and this Green Bay Packers offense, this is your opportunity to get back on track. You're going and you're playing against the Detroit Lions. Aaron Rodgers has won 5 out of his last 6 games against the Lions. The only loss coming last season, the last game where they didn't play their stars. They were getting ready for the playoffs. You want to get ready for the playoffs, win this game, and try to secure and give yourself a chance to be in the conversation to head back to the playoffs this season.
And it's an amazing list that we had that you showed on that full screen, and all of those are Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, right? And we're talking about all 3 of these teams, and they just can't seem to get right. So I'm going to take the defending Super Bowl champs. Give me the LA Rams. What in the wide world's going on out in Cali? What's going on there? They're 3-4 right now. And look, a lot of people talk about, hey, sometimes you start slow the next season at the Super Bowl. You know, you're still thinking about the previous year. I just don't know what's going on with this offense. I know Cooper Kupp is having another phenomenal year, but I feel like Matt Stafford, enough with the interceptions already. Like last year, you know, I think he got a pass for some of the interceptions. A new year, new offense to learn some things, but this offense, you need that explosive game, that breakout game, and this would be the best time to have it. You know you're going to get an opportunity.
We're in November already.
Yeah, we're in November already, and Stafford has got 3 touchdown passes in his last 5 games, right? So, that's just not what we're used to seeing with this offense, and it can't always be Cooper Kupp. Somebody else has got to step up, but I need Stafford to play better. You go back to that game the last time they played each other, as Sarah Walsh mentioned, the divisional round down in Tampa. They needed a big play. For the love of the game. You know what? That was the name of the play. That's now what we want to see you. That's how we want to see you play the game. For the love of the game. Let's see the passion. Let's see the fireworks. Let's see some offensive production from Stafford in this Rams offense. Couldn't come at a better time against the Bucs. For the love of all things good and pure, what is going on with the Las Vegas Raiders right now? My goodness. I mean, every team on this list that we just talked about, I think that they have played more to their potential. They're struggling, but no one is struggling as bad as the Raiders are right now. They come off a bye 2 weeks ago. They beat the Texans, and it feels like, okay, obviously you took your 10 days. You got a couple things right. Let's go. Texans, and then let's go to Saints. Oh, you get shut out by the Saints in New Orleans. Okay, what just happened? The roller coaster that the Raiders have taken everybody on in an off season where the expectation was so high with a new GM that hired a new head coach, Josh McDaniels, who's standing right there. And Dave Ziegler came out this week and said there's no one I have more confidence in right now than Josh McDaniels, the way he has handled himself professionally at 2-5. It really tests your leadership and whatnot. Ooh, man, I can imagine that it's a test and it's a challenge, but something has to get right here because right now the 2 wins you have at the time is at a very challenged Broncos team and then against the Texans. So your wins are not that notable. Your play in challenging games, not great to be shut out by the Saints. And I cannot figure out for the life of me what has happened to this team that is riddled with talent. Josh Jacobs, ride him. And they won't, it can't. I don't know what.
It's alarming. Clicking. They didn't cross the 50 last week, I don't think.
All the 2-minute
warning. We're talking Devontae Adams is on this roster. Derek Carr makes $100+ million. You paid Max Crosby. You paid Chandler Jones. This isn't a young team. This is a bad team right now, and they're all paid very well, and they're veterans, and they don't have a ton of draft picks coming. They traded away for Devontae Adams. I don't know. A
lot of people had them winning the division, or being a contender, right?
I did. It's time now for our NFL Network insider, Ian Rappaport. I didn't need the face. I'm already feeling the face, okay? Week 9 is just getting started. Injury. Don't laugh at me either. I can't throw a pen at you as easily. Injury news. Ian, what's going on?
We'll start with Michael Thomas. You guys talked about the Saints. They obviously did all that against the Raiders without Michael Thomas, their star receiver, one of the best receivers in the NFL. And when he has played, that has been evident, played the first 3 games of the season, was a baller, had 3 touchdowns, and was basically dominant, and now is out for the season. He suffered a dislocated second toe, so not the big toe, but the toe right next to it. They thought it would be better non-surgically, just rehab. They thought after the bye he'd be able to come back. The last week he'd be able to come back. None of it was to be. He has now been placed on injured reserve. He's going to have surgery to repair that dislocated toe. That is a several-month procedure, looking at probably about 3 months, so they do not expect him back. I know he hadn't played a ton this year, but still a significant blow for someone they thought would be out there. Meanwhile, Ryan Tannehill's situation still pretty much up in the air, and there was actually a lot of optimism going into the week that it would be just a 1-week injury. He practiced limited on Wednesday, really no big deal. did not practice yesterday. That may be a big deal. We'll see today if he's able to get out there. If not, you might see another week of Malik Willis for the Tennessee Titans.
Well, if they have Derrick Henry out there, they seem to operate just fine since Willis only threw the ball 10 times last week in his start as a quarterback. Rap Sheet, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you in a little bit. The NFL's International Series